This is your final guide to be truly confident. I'm sick of those videos that say things like, in order to give a confident presentation, you have to prepare. Like, no, duh. The more you prepare, the more confident you're gonna be. It's like, of course, but also I could prepare for ages and still not feel confident. Or things like, you have to make promises to yourself and then keep them. It's like, it only takes to break one promise for you to not have confidence on yourself. Well, that's not great advice. So this is what I've studied actual people that have true confidence, seeing how they think, because I really like psychology, I really like studying people, I really like psychoanalyzing people. So I did that and I found out the things that make truly confident people. So here is your final guide to being truly confident. The first thing that I've noticed from these people is that their parents build that confidence. So if you're watching this video, it's probably because they didn't. But don't worry, even if they didn't, you can still gain confidence. The parents build their kids' confidence by making certain things important and other things not as important. The one person that I studied, his parents, he ended up being very successful. They didn't care so much about his grades, but when he did things out of kindness, they would put a lot of emphasis in it, and they would be like, wow, you did so great. But when it came to grades, like, they didn't compare him to other kids, or they didn't think that was that important, and in the end it really wasn't. So anyways, if your parents did not build your confidence, that's okay, because all of the next tips you can do. So starting with the actual first tip, there's no comparison, no competition. Comparison is flawed. And what I mean by this, I'm going to give you certain examples. Like, you walk down the street, you see this girl with the most beautiful hair, and you start feeling like, oh, my hair is not that pretty, oh, her hair is so much prettier, or whatever. You have to realize that her hair comes with all of her. Like, it's not just her hair. You cannot just pinpoint what you're going to compare, because, well, that's what makes comparison flawed, because you're pinpointing, like, oh, this person got an A in maths and you failed, and it's like, okay, but this person failed in art class, or they failed in literature, so why are you just comparing one? It comes as a whole. So with the thing of like appearance, once I learned this, I stopped comparing myself appearance-wise, because you realize, like, her hair, let's say that she has like an ugly face, like a really ugly face. I was like, her hair comes with her ugly face. Would you want her face too? It's like, oh, no, I'm just talking about her hair. I just like her hair. It's like, you cannot just like her hair. You cannot compare yourself to be less just because of the hair. Or like other people that are arrogant, or still comes from insecurity, but they would be like, oh, my hair, maybe they're like, my hair is so much better than hers. And it's like, but you can't just do that to feel better. Like, okay, like, her face is so much prettier, but my hair is so much better. Like, who cares? Like, it's not, comparison is flawed. Just don't compare yourself with anyone. And it comes as a whole. Like, you cannot be like, oh, that person's career is going so well, and it's like, okay, but they suck at having relationships, or, you know, like, it's so flawed. When you realize that, you're never going to compare yourself, or gonna try to never compare yourself, because you realize, wait, what am I not seeing? What am I not comparing? I'm just comparing this side, but maybe in the other sides I'm way better off than them, or they're not. So anyways, comparison, flawed. And then also, even if it's not like that, like, I'm an artist, this is an art YouTube video, YouTube channel, and I will see somebody that's 16 and their art is so much better than mine. I'm like, oh my goodness, their art is so much better, and they're younger than I am. It's like, okay, but did you spend the hours that person spent? Because you don't know. And I'm the type that I don't like spending too much time on One Piece, because I feel like it's kind of like self-sabotage, but I feel like even if I spend 3 hours in One Piece, it's not gonna come out really nice, so why would I spend that time? I'm like, why would I spend that much time when it's still not gonna come out amazing because my skill level is not there. So I might as well make 5 different drawings quicker than try to make this perfect drawing and then it comes out horrible. So in a way that's like kind of self-sabotage, but I can't compare my drawing to someone's drawing that might have spent a lot more hours practicing that, have spent more hours making that drawing. So in the end, it's like, why am I comparing when I might have not spent the same amount of time, and I might not even be willing to spend that time to get there. So overall, comparison is flawed, and there's also no competition. There's this idea that you're competing, and especially like in the dating world and in like getting a man, it's like, oh, but I'm competing with this many women. And first of all, that's not true. I feel like men, I don't want to get into that, but like I feel like men think that they have way more options than they actually have, and then therefore you feel in competition and you're like, oh, look at these other women that are so pretty, and you're like look at Bella Hadid, like she's so amazing and so pretty, like I will never be like her. First of all, that comparison is flawed, but second of all, you're not competing with Bella Hadid. Like, do you think Bella Hadid would date your boyfriend? Let's be for real. But the thing is, you're not competing. And another example that helps that even more is if I have cheesecake and a chocolate cake, I'm always gonna choose the chocolate cake because I don't like cheesecake. So cheesecake and chocolate cake could feel like they are competing for my attention and for me to pick them, but it's not a competition because I just like chocolate cake. Like, I'm never going to choose cheesecake, no matter if like the cheesecake is like, okay, but I'm gonna be a chocolate cheesecake, or trying to look more like the chocolate cheesecake or the chocolate cake. I'm still gonna choose the chocolate cake because the chocolate cake is the cake that I want. So if you see like that also happens with people. Like, you're not competing with anyone. If someone likes you, they like you. And you come with a lot of things. You're the whole package. You're not, and it doesn't have to mean like you're perfect and you have all the great things. No, but like, okay, that girl is really pretty, but that girl doesn't come with your amazing humor or the way that you take care of someone, or, like, and I'm not trying to be like putting down the other person. I mean it more like, you are you and you're fully you, and if someone wants to be with you, it's because they want to be with you, with like fully you, with experiences that you have together or the way that you do things. So you're not competing with anyone. So you're not competing with other women to get a man, especially to get a man. You're not. He either likes you for you and likes you completely, or he doesn't, and it's not your job to make him like you. It's your job to make you like you, but we're gonna get into that. Anyways, so there's no competition, and you're like, okay, but I'm in a literal competition, and even there, it's flawed because do you have the same conditions as everybody else? Like, if you're in a race, like, do you weigh the same? Are you as tall as them? Have you trained as much as they have? It's still a bit like, okay, the faster will win, but are all of the variants the same in order to be like, oh yeah, I won? Okay, but you played, or like you competed with someone that was a clone of you, so now you won, and that is a lot of merit. But if there's different variants, then, well, it's kind of flawed. But either way, like, obviously you can still compete and try to win, even if you understand that there's no competition, because if someone is faster, they're just gonna be faster because of their conditions and all of the variants. But anyways, the point is, try to get out as much comparison and competition out of your life, especially if it's not a competition, not an actual competition. Like, there's no competition. And a lot of times there's space for everybody. Like, for instance, you feel like, oh, I'm competing in this YouTube to be better than this person or this person. Like, you're not. There's space for everybody. There's space for you to be here and to making videos. There's space for other people to be and making videos. So there's no competition, there's no comparison. Now, the other advice, the second advice, because I'm gonna like take completely off the first one of like parents, because that's something you can't control. So the second advice is to believe in your potential. You can literally achieve anything. Anything is literally possible, and I realized this. You set limits to yourself, and then you get to that limit, and that's the limit. I realized at the gym, like when I see someone lift heavier weights, obviously a woman, so I understand that men do lift heavier weights. I'm like, oh, I was stuck at a weight because I thought that was like maximum and that was like really strong, and now I see this woman taking this other weight that is way heavier, and I'm like, oh, I can do that too. But like in the Stairmaster, some guy was going at 15 and my top was 10, and I felt like 10 was a lot. And then I went to 15 because he went to 15, and I was like, well, if it's possible for him, then it's possible for me. And 15 was easy. Or like in the treadmill as well, and got to my brother that barely exercises, got to 15, and I was like 12, 13 was my top because I was scared to go higher, and then like 15 is still quite easy. So the limits that you put yourself, it are limits that you put yourself, but you can achieve greater. And when you believe in your potential, you're gonna become truly confident, because you're gonna step into a room that everyone is better than you know much less than them, and you realize the first advice, that there is no comparison, and you comparing yourself to those people that have worked in that company for 30 years, it's not fair, because obviously that they've worked in that company for 30 years, obviously they're gonna know more than you do. Or even if they worked for 2 years, like they're gonna know more than you do because you're a newbie. Not only that, but you also believe in your potential, and you believe like, if I had spent 30 years in this company, I would be just as good as that other person. Or if I, for instance, going back to the drawing advice, if I spent the 15 hours that person spent on a drawing, I might have also come out with a very nice drawing. Had I spent all the time that they've spent practicing drawing like that, I would be just as good. So you have to believe in your potential, and you literally can do anything. And once you believe in your potential, you're going to be way nicer to yourself, because you're going to be like, oh wait, I'm not great at this, or I'm not good at this, but I know I can get better. And it's the I know I can get better that gives you confidence. Like, yeah, this is bad, or yeah, I did this drawing and it's horrible, but it gets me closer to doing a nicer and better drawing. So that's all that matters. And this advice, if you apply it, it's truly going to give you so much confidence when you believe in your potential and you realize that, okay, yeah, I'm not that good at this, but I can get better, and I know I will get better. The next advice is to self-validate. And I have seen these ones in other confidence video, and it's to self-validate. It matters. It has to matter more to you, what you like, what you enjoy, your likes and dislikes, than what other people like and dislike. And I drink water. It has to be way more important for you what you like, your own opinion, than others' opinion. And this is something that you build. Like, some people might be like, but I don't know what I like, and that's okay. You're going to learn that through time. Usually what you really like are things that spark joy, and regardless if people are like, well, that's not it, or that's ugly, or whatever, you're like, well, but I like it, and that's what matters. And you have to make that be what matters the most. So for instance, the length of my hair. If someone's like, you would look so much better with short hair, I'll be like, well, I don't care. I don't care, because this is the length that I like. Or if somebody's like, don't ever cut your hair. Your hair looks great right now, and if you cut it, no, that's not gonna be it. Like, you really have to not cut your hair. I mean, when men tell me that, I'm like, the urge to cutting it has appeared when men tell me to not cut it. But I'm like, okay, but I'm not cutting it because I like it this length, not because you tell me not to. So you have to really find what you like. Or if you're wearing an outfit, this is the outfit that I like, and I like it, and it might be experimental and it might be a bit different, but what matters is that I like it. So if you don't like it and you have something to say about it, I don't care, because I like it. And that gives you a lot of confidence to just walk and wear whatever you want or do whatever you want because you truly believe in it, or you truly like it. So who cares if you don't like it? I like it, and that's what truly matters to me. And then there's some times that you are going to wear things or do things that you're not sure of. And that's what happens to me. Like, I'm very confident when I'm like, okay, I love this outfit, or I love this makeup, or I love this, and I'm going to wear it and I'm going to be confident. But sometimes I try new things, or I do certain things and I'm like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure if I look my best in these or whatever. And then usually when you feel like that is when people come out and be like, your makeup looks weird today, or I don't like your makeup, or why do you do your makeup like that? I do get people saying that, and if I'm like, I like it, I don't care what you say, then it doesn't matter. But if I'm not sure about it, it can affect me. It can be like, yeah, I wasn't sure. But that's where the next piece of advice comes into, which is put some values over other values. So for instance, when I'm wearing something that I'm not very sure of, but I'm not sure of, and people are like, oh, I don't think your makeup is really looking great, I'd be like, my value over a value is that I value more enjoying my day and still be confident, and be confident regardless of how I'm looking and how I feel like other people are seeing me. Like, I'd rather be confident even when I don't look my best, or when I don't feel like I look my best, or even when people don't think I look my best, than being insecure and being like, oh no, like, what do I do now? Do I take it off? What do I do? So I rather stay confident. So that's a value over a value. It's like, I'd rather be confident than have makeup on now that I absolutely love and I'm absolutely 100% sure of. And yeah, and I did that also with like body confidence. So when I would go to the beach, I'm like, I rather remember this holiday as so much fun, like I had so much fun, we went here, we went there, we did this, than to remember it like, because I literally remember some holidays as, oh, I was so insecure and I felt so ugly, and I wasn't even, like, it's one of those things that you look back and it's like, no, I looked great, but still. And that takes me to the other thing. It's like, people are gonna judge you and they're gonna be like, oh, I hate your makeup, and then it gets trendy and everyone's like, oh, I like it, I'm gonna do it too. And they're not even gonna tell you that they like it. You're going to see them and they're done that makeup that you did and that they judge you for, and then you're gonna be like, but didn't you say you hated that? It's like, people are constantly changing, on what people like is constantly changing. So that's why you shouldn't validate yourself through them, but through you. And it's like, if you like it, if that's a makeup that you like it, then that's everything that matters. Because perhaps it's not trendy now, but it might be trendy later. So who cares? And after all that I've lived, after all the years I've lived, I realized that I'm not caring about any of that anymore. Because I've seen certain things go into trend, and then they're not in trend anymore, and then they're again. So it literally has no value for me what other people think. Like, one of the things that I like is bows and all these coquette style, and even though I was a little bit mad when it got like trendy, because it was like, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm wearing this because it's trendy. Like, I'm wearing it because I really like it. But when it got trendy, it's like, suddenly everybody likes bows, and suddenly everybody likes this coquette style. But before, they would be like, oh, that's too girly, I don't like that. Oh, bows are so ugly. And it's like, how quickly they can turn. So that's why you shouldn't care about what other people's opinions are, and you should really care just your own, because at some point maybe what you like is going to be mainstream and everyone's going to like it. So I actually don't know what the meaning of mainstream is. I think I used it correctly, but I'm not sure. Anyways, there has to be things that you like because you like them. Like, I've lived long to see that people hated or hated on or laughed at big booties. They laughed at them. If a woman had a big booty, they would be like, look at her booty, it's huge, laughing, and like in a that's so ugly way. And I don't have to say anymore, because you see how booties are treated right nowadays. It's like, how can I change from literally being hated and laughed at to being the most sexualized thing in the world? Like, how are you gonna, like, what? And that's when you also realize, but I'm not gonna get into that, how much of the like things that men like, they've been told to like it, and they only like it because it's popular. Like, I know when a man likes something for real, it's when it's something that's not mainstream, or like it's not, I use mainstream again and I'm not sure, if it's not like trendy and it's not like your typical thing, and they say it and it's like, oh, I like this, and it's like, okay, like that's not necessarily the thing that society would deem as attractive and as the ideal, then like you can tell, okay, they like it for real. But the rest of it is like, they really like it, or because literally men laughing at big booties, being like, oh my goodness, this woman has a big butt, and then you can see them now. So basically the point with that is to never never care about others' opinions, self-validate. If you think that's right, and if you think that what you're doing, you like it and it matters to you and you know why you're doing it, then do it. And also, like, you're the only one that knows why you're doing something, and people might judge you for it, but people will judge you and then they'll be like, oh no, but I like it, or do the same thing, or do even worse that you've done, but they're judging you, because if they point fingers at you, no one is looking at them. So anyways, the next advice, those are the most important advice. So like, no comparison, no competition, believe in your potential, values, self-validate, put values over other values. So like, I'd rather have fun this day than care about how I look. Or there was also another one that one of my friends that was the one that I studied for learning how to be truly confident. She was very clever and she got the best grades, but she would ask stupid questions, or she would ask questions over and over again, like, okay, but when's the exam? Okay, but when's the exam? When's the exam? Like 3 times, and it would be kind of annoying. But her value was, I'm going to get this education to get my dream life and to go even further and to get that good grade so that I can live my dream life. And that matters more to me than looking stupid to my classmates or than the teacher. Like, it matters more to me to know when the exam is gonna be and for me to not forget it than if these people think that I'm stupid for asking it 5 times. Or like, she would be the type that would be like, oh, you have a question that you want to ask? I will ask it for you. Like, she didn't care, and that was so I admire that so much, because I used to be the type where I was like, I'm so scared to even ask anything, because maybe my voice doesn't come right, or I say something stupid and everyone laughs, or everyone remembers me as the girl with the stupid questions, which, who cares? Like, literally, who cares? Like, I barely even care or remember about any of my classmates. That's kind of mean, but yeah, like, do you care about your classmates? Do you remember, oh, this person asked this stupid question? And even if you do remember, like, isn't it funny and isn't it cool to remember it? It's like, oh, remember when this person asked this really dumb question? Oh, those times. Like, you don't remember it and be like, oh, they're so stupid. No, you don't. So don't be so hard on yourself. But yeah, like, that value of hers was more important than appearing intelligent to the class. And everyone knew that she was clever, so it also didn't make her look stupid, which is the fear that people that wouldn't ask had. So those are the most important ones. And then this last one, it's actually a really hard one to do, and that's why I kept it last. And it's also kind of obvious, and I do think that this is in a lot of videos, which is to love yourself. And it's a long journey, and it shouldn't really be that hard, but especially for women, it's really hard, because we're bombarded from everywhere to be insecure. So yeah, love yourself, especially like have compassion for yourself, allow yourself to make mistakes, allow yourself to not know, because you don't know, and if you knew better, you would do better. So yeah, allow yourself to make mistakes, love yourself, have compassion for yourself, treat yourself the way that you would treat somebody else. So if you and that's usually what happens, like people that are very hard on themselves and don't love themselves are usually so kind to other people, and they're like, oh, you made this mistake, it's okay, you didn't know about it, or it's okay, we can fix it, or it's fine. But then you make a mistake and it's like, oh my goodness, but I'm so dumb and I always make these mistakes. And it's like, why are you not giving yourself the same energy that you're giving that person? And it's so perfect because it happens the same with the other way around. So people that are very hard on other people and they're like, how could you be so stupid and do this? The moment they make a mistake, they're like, well, everybody makes mistakes. And I'm like, no, that's not, no. You should have the same compassion for other people as you have for yourself, and it's reciprocal. Reciprocal? Is that the word? So yeah, a very wise man once said it, and he was very wise saying this, and the fact that he was like, everything is summed up in love thy neighbor as you love thyself, and it's so perfect. It's such a perfect message. It's like, you have to love others the same way that you love yourself. So you have to love yourself, and you have to love others the same way. So it's not like, oh, you've made a mistake and you're so dumb for making that mistake. Oh, everybody makes mistakes, it's not my problem. No, it's, oh, everybody makes mistakes. It's fine that I made that mistake, and it's fine that you made that mistake, because everybody makes mistakes, and we can work through it. And it's like, it's already happened, especially if it's a mistake, like it's already happened. So like, let's work through it, and let's see, like, hopefully you don't do it again. But if you do it again, perhaps they're gonna have to fire you or something like that, and that's okay. And you have to realize that that's fair, because you've made a mistake, that perhaps it's a big mistake, and if you keep on doing it, somebody might get hurt, and it makes sense. So like, that compassion of like, perhaps I didn't deserve to be in that position, but me not having to be in that position doesn't mean anything about myself, which is also another could be another advice, a bonus. Oh, like an extra advice would be to not take anything personal. So it's like, yeah, I wasn't that good at that job. It doesn't mean that I'm useless. It doesn't mean that I'm not amazing or great, or that I couldn't do another job amazingly. It's just that that job I was bad at, and that's okay. And it goes back to like the comparison thing. Like, you might not be good at that job, but just because you're not good at the job, you shouldn't judge yourself as a whole as not good. No, you're not good at that, but you might be very good at another thing. So then again, don't judge yourself in that way, and then your potential, like, yeah, I wasn't good at that job, but I'm sure if I kept on doing it for longer, I would have become a lot better. Or maybe it was just not for me, so I have to do something else. And so yeah, that compassion and understanding and true love, like when you love someone, you take care of them, you do things that you know that they're gonna like. You don't force them to do things that they don't want to do, so don't force yourself to do things that you don't want to do. And literally, this advice of like, love yourself could be the whole video, because the moment you start really loving yourself and really appreciating yourself, you're gonna have a lot more confidence, just because you're not gonna be so hard on yourself. So it's gonna be easier to do things, because it's like, I'm on my side, and if things go wrong, if I say something wrong, if I breathe in a wrong way, like, I'm gonna be fine, because at the end of the day, the only thing that I have is my brain, and the only thing that I have is me. So if I'm the one hating on myself before I go to bed, like, oh my goodness, I said that stupid thing, why do I always say stupid things and stuff like that, like, you're the only one that's doing that to you. And it could literally end the moment that you make it end, and you're like, okay, I'm not thinking about that, or I'm not thinking about that like that anymore, or I'm not thinking about me like that ever. And you are like, shut up. No, that's the moment it ends, and that's how you can literally be at peace and love yourself more, because you're not hating on yourself all the time, or reminding yourself of all the mistakes you've done. And why would you do that? Like, would you do that to someone else? That would be very mean if you were all the time like, do you remember that time you said that really bad thing? Yeah, you should remember that, just to feel a bit more insecure. Like, don't be a mean girl to yourself. So, and then also don't be a mean girl to other people. So yeah, I can get into also how people are so, I want to be so rightful, that they end up being just what they're against, which is kind of funny. But I'm not going to get into that in this video because it's not from the topic. So those are the advices, the final advice for you to actually be confident. If you apply this, you're going to notice that you feel way more confident. And obviously that's the whole point of the video, and that you're better with yourself. But yeah, the most important thing is to have like compassion with yourself and realize your potential, and don't compare yourself. Anyways, all that I've said in this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it really helped you. And this is my art YouTube channel, so I don't know if you like this video, and a lot of people like it, I might do more like this. But I'm probably not, because my, well, who knows. So anyways, love yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to other people, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So you can still, I lost a nail again. I'm gonna have to start again. This was going well.